Good morning. At
Hola.
the end of my session with Adriana earlier, she was talking about this teacher that she saw, Argentinian. And she had thought of sending it to me, and then she thought no, and then I said, well, send it to me. And it's like a teacher that's a Course in Miracles teacher on crack. I mean, she's like,
wow.
She's like, what are you doing?
I read about those teachers.
Oh, she's great. She's like, now follow me, listen to what I'm saying.
Wow.
She's
inspiring.
very, like, como se dice, her conviction is strong. It's like a shot of espresso in your coffee.
Wow.
Or you're just laughing about it because she was asking me, what do you think about it? I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. No, it's funny.
But the
How
message is clear regardless.
Oh yeah, she's very clear. Yeah. Very clear. But it's just, in the form, it's just interesting to see all of these different forms of the curriculum, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like that we're at this place where we can, enjoy it and laugh and see the hilarity and everything, but it's not in a mocking way. It's just it's a really lovely way. It's like a playfulness of the spirit, right? And he brings in, these figures in our perception, and they're just very interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, we're going to section, it's like number 4, manual for teachers, and it's a longer one, but I just thought that you could just read like they have the first paragraph and the first one that talks about trust, because we're going to what are the characteristics of God's teachers, and obviously there's several characteristics of God's teachers, but you can just read like the first page.
5 pages of characteristics.
Yeah, it's number
6. Okay. What are the characteristics of God's teachers? The surface traits of God's teachers are not at all alike. They do not alike to the body's eyes. They come from vastly different backgrounds. Their experiences of the world vary greatly, and their superficial personalities are quite distinct. Not at the beginning stages of their functioning as teachers of God have they as yet required the deeper characteristics that will establish them as what they are. God gives special gifts to his teachers because they have a special role in his plan for atonement. Their specialness, of course, only temporary, set in time as a means of leading out of time. These special gifts, born in the holy relationship toward which the teaching learning situation is geared, become characteristic of all teachers of God who have advanced in their own learning. In this respect, they are alike. All differences among the sons of God are temporary. Nevertheless, in time, it can be said that the advanced teachers of God have the following characteristics. Number 1, trust. This is the foundation on which their ability to fulfill their function rests. Perception is the result of learning. In fact, perception is learning because cause and effect are never separated. The teachers of God have trust in the world because they have learned it not governed by the laws the world made up. It is governed by a power that is in them, but not of them. It is this power that keeps all things safe. It is through this power that the teachers of God look on a forgiven world. When this power has once been experienced, it is impossible to trust one's own petty strength again. Who would attempt to fly with the tiny wings of a sparrow when the mighty power of an eagle has been given him? And who would place his faith in this shabby offering of the ego when the gifts of God are laid before him? What is it that induces them to make the shift? A. Development of trust.
I think we could stop there. Or you feel like you want to read the whole section?
Well, I figured I would just read trust,
Okay.
and then we'd be on to honesty and the rest. Otherwise, I think it breaks trust up.
Okay. Break stress up.
Okay. How can you?
Huh?
How can you break trust? Oh.
First, they must go through what might be called a period of undoing. This need not be painful, but it usually is experienced. It seems as if things are being taken away, and it is rarely understood initially that their lack of value is merely being recognized. How can lack of value be perceived unless the perceiver is in a position where he must see things in a different light? Is yet not yet at a point at which he can make the shift entirely internally. And so the plan will sometimes call for changes in what seem to be external circumstances. These changes are always helpful. When the teacher of God has learned that much, he goes on to the second stage. Next, the teacher of God must go through a period of sorting out. This is always somewhat difficult because having learned that the changes in his life are always helpful, he must now decide all things on the basis of whether they increase the helpfulness or hamper it. He will find that many, if not most, of the things he valued before will merely hinder his ability to transfer what he has learned to new situations as they arise. Because he has valued what is really valueless, he will not generalize the lesson for fear of loss and sacrifice. It takes great learning to understand that all things, events, encounters, and circumstances are helpful. It is only to the extent to which they are helpful that any degree of reality should be accorded them in this world of illusion. The word value can apply to nothing else. The third stage, through which the teacher of God must go, can be called a period of relinquishment. It is this, if this is interpreted as giving up the desirable, it will engender enormous conflict. Few teachers of God escape this distress entirely. There is, however, no point in sorting out the valuable from the valueless unless the next obvious step is taken. Therefore, the period of overlap is apt to be one in which the teacher of God feels called upon to sacrifice his own best interests on behalf of truth. He's not realized as yet how wholly impossible such a demand would be. He can learn this only as he actually does give up the valueless. Through this, he learns that where he anticipated grief, he finds a happy lightheartedness instead. Where he thought something was asked of him, he finds a gift bestowed upon him. Now comes a period of settling down. This is a quiet time, in which the teacher of God rests a while in reasonable peace. Now he consolidates his learning. Now he begins to see the transfer value of what he has learned. His potential is literally staggering, and the teacher of God is now at the point in his progress at which he sees it in his whole way out. Give up what you do not want and keep what you do. How simple is this, is the obvious, and how easy to do. The teacher of God needs this period of respite. He has not yet come as far as he thinks. Yet when he is ready to go on, he goes with mighty companions beside him. Now he rests a while and gathers them before going on. He will not go on from here alone. The next stage is indeed a period of unsettling. Now must the teacher of God understand that he did not really know what was valuable and what was valueless. All he really learned so far was that he did not want the valueless and he did not want the valuable. Yet his own sorting out was meaningless in teaching him the difference. The idea of sacrifice, so central to his own thought system, had made it impossible for him to judge. He thought he learned willingness, but now he sees that he does not know what the willingness is for. And now he must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time. He must learn to lay all judgment aside and ask only what he really wants in every circumstance. Were not each step in this direction so heavily reinforced, it would be hard indeed. And finally, there's a period of achievement. It is here that learning is consolidated. Now what was seen as merely shadows before become solid gains to be counted on in all emergencies as well as tranquil times. Indeed, the tranquility is their result, the outcome of honest learning, consistency of thought and full transfer. This is the real stage of real peace, for here is heaven's state fully reflected. From here, the way to heaven is open and easy. In fact, it is here who would go anywhere if peace of mind is already complete, and who would seek to change tranquility for something more desirable. What could be more desirable than this?
I mean, thank you. Yeah, I was thinking about like when you started reading the first part, how everything is perfect because I had we were making the comment about that teacher, and obviously the surface traits. I'm talking about the physical form, right? Are not all alike. They don't look alike to the body's eyes, and everyone and all the teachers of God, they come from every place all over the planet and from different religions, no religion, every language, but they're all teaching the same thing. I remember reading this part, at the beginning, the first time that I read this, and I think at the beginning that I started to do the course, and it talks about like these different levels, that you have to go through, that the teacher of God has to go through with the development of trust and trying to analyze, where am I here? Where am I here? Am I here? Am I here? I think I'm here. I'm trying to evaluate where, because I still, the ego always has like a something to achieve, right? And it takes this like, okay, we're going to do this, then we're going to achieve this. And now that you were reading it, for me, it's just like, at this point right now, it doesn't matter. Like I feel like I have complete trust in the spirit, and I don't need to try to figure out in what stage I'm in. If I'm at the beginning or at the end, I don't want or need to evaluate that. it would be complete nonsense and a waste of time. But it's still it's helpful because it gives us like a glimpse on what are the possibilities of the experience, so that you know that there's nothing wrong, nothing is going badly, because you know it talks about those periods of unsettlement where we think that something is being taken away from us, and until we actually can, discernment can come in reference to what is valuable and what is valueless, and is not talking about anything in the physical form specifically. The only thing that's valuable is love. But our mind is like so messed up. We've learned through repetition over and over again. We've taught ourselves with repetition over and over again what we are not, to the point where we actually believe it. So the course has to use that same way of learning that we've made up, the repetition, to unlearn.
Okay.
And
it doesn't.
the good thing is that that period of, you know, the development of trust, the Holy Spirit is the one that's in charge of doing that, and that's done through our experience. Were you gonna say something? ¿Tiene algo que añadir, Adri?
No.
No?
Epa.
I invite any correction on anything that I've said or will say.
No, it's perfect.
No need for correction. If
No.
anything, there might be a need for forgiveness, but
Aquí
that's
está, con la ya. Qué bueno.
No, that's what we're doing, right? Forgiveness.
Yep.
All the time. Yeah, forgiveness of all these thoughts that come up in our mind that we've given them power to affect us and to take us out of our peace, which is complete nonsense, but we still keep doing it.
Usted, déjame ver. Dime ese.
She's,
They are from Juanadía and they have this big parade, but they cancel it.
they canceled the in Juanadía.
Uh-huh.
The because today is Three Kings Day.
Three Kings, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the town that is next where the boys are from, the parents' house, is known for its festivity of the Three Kings Day. And they have a very strong tradition. And it was celebrated with a big parade in the whole town that everybody from the island game. It's like a big, big thing.
Wow.
But they told me that they cancel it. Of course,
This is like,
the world
this is
quiet,
huge. It's like the world going quiet. I
going
don't think
quiet.
ever that festival has ever been canceled. I mean, it's like it's like canceling the como se dice the New Year's Eve in Times Square.
Wow. And is it only from Puerto Rico on Three Kings Day, or is it
No, no.
Nah, it's all through Catholic.
Latin? Oh, Catholic.
It's Catholic tradition of the three
Ah,
kings that to visit baby Jesus.
ah,
So it's been going on for about 2,000 years,
never
all
heard of it.
throughout the continent.
Yeah.
I mean
There's
the
some,
world.
yeah. In
Right.
some countries, it's much more celebrated than the birth of Christ
Huh.
and Christmas.
So it's Catholic, not just Latin.
Yeah, it has a very big Catholic symbolism. I don't know how other Christian churches. I think all of them celebrate the. Hola, mi amor, felicidades a ustedes, que la pasen bien. Yeah, any religion that celebrates Christ celebrates the three kings.
I don't know. I missed that one.
Yeah. So I guess that could be celebrated even in Russia because they are parts of the Christian Orthodox church
Hmm.
all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah, there's mass and stuff and everything. Like if it's a Sunday in church.
Can you tell I wasn't raised Catholic?
I'm
Or
gonna be.
Latino.
I'm gonna
Or
be.
Latino? And I guess I've never dated any serious Catholics either.
Or Latinas, maybe.
Well, no, Latinas I have. Elizabeth is.
Yeah, so the lady that comes and cleans your house, you can say, "Hey, Happy Three Kings Day." She will
Yeah,
probably appreciate that.
she was here 2 days ago. I would have if I'd known. But yeah. So how's the text reading going?
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Yeah, very beautiful. You're just seeing how going through the text, there's much more clarity, and how this idea, this thought that had or had been communicated to me, where each part of the course encompasses the whole of the course. And the beginning, I didn't get that, but now I'm seeing it more and more clearly. And it's like a puzzle that comes together all of a sudden. It goes after um, a seemingly long period of time of reading and studying the course. You know, there's the fruits of it. I'm seeing them, how for me how it's becoming much more clear, and how effortless it's becoming, of being in that state of peace and non-judgment.
Mm.
And also how acutely painful it is to leave that state, a state that, you know, the egoic state of living, you know, in judgment and fear and condemning, that had been so normal now it's becoming painful to the degree where it's like I don't even want to accept any of the justifications that the ego wants to bring for me to judge or condemn another person because the pain is too great.
Yeah.
When that used to be just the normal state that I lived in.
Sure.
And I thought, you would ask me, are you happy? Yes, I'm happy. Yeah. And that's the mind that is asleep and ignorant to its reality. I'm not saying that I am awake now, but I am awake to the I guess the como se dice, like a state previous to complete awakeness. Like I know that this is not it. I know it's that. So I'm leaning more towards that.
Yeah.
And not wanting to accept any of those gifts that the ego wants to bring, those gifts in quotes, right? Trying to establish my personality and my separateness and my littleness, because that's what we do. We're like, oh, we have this magnitude, this greatness that we are. That's our true reality. That's how we've been created and defined. And then we want to define ourselves as this little thing, como decía la Argentina, como how she was saying, the Argentinian. I can't. We define ourselves as miserable beings. And I liked what she said. We're going to desert the army of the miserable, was it?
De los impotentes.
De lo impotente, ¿cómo se dice impotente? In impotent, and the miserable and the impotent. That feeling that the ego feeling of like, oh, this is so big and I can't do anything about it. And she would even use that voice like, oh, poor me. Hilarious. So, and I, not accepting that identity anymore, deserting that army. And I like what she was saying, that, one awakened mind includes all minds, because there's only, it's like one mind. It's the mind. So you just have to be responsible for your own awakening, and then you take everyone into that. There's no possible way of awakening and leaving anybody behind. It's impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was said in the Course, why would we want to fly with sparrow wings when we were given the powerful wings of an eagle?
Mm.
Yeah,
exactly. And then we can just wait and patiently, because we know too much, and so we've given overall control to the Holy Spirit, and then we can rest and we can wait.
exactly.
And give up all our worries. But the development of trust is key. Good thing is that we don't have to do anything. It's done for us.
Yeah.
All differences among the sons of God are temporary. Yeah, and it talks here about the advanced teachers of God and those levels that we're referring to. But it makes the a salvedad, like it tells us specifically, it in time, it seems like that's what's happening. But in reality, it's we're all one and we're all the same and we're all equal. But while we're believing in in time, then it seems like some people are more advanced or going through these stages. It's a helpful way to use this idea of stages and levels and grados, the hierarchy. It's in the hands of the Holy Spirit. Then it's, instead of keeping us inside the illusion, it takes us out, starts moving us. Let's move along. Let's move along outside of this dream.
Yeah.
Of unreality. And it's like, you believe in stages? All right, well, I'll give you stages, but we're gonna move into the opposite. We're moving towards the opposite direction. But see, I don't think I have anything more to say about that. If anybody else has anything to say.
No.
No,
How's the
I'm happy.
hydrogen peroxide doing?
I that day that we talked about that, I thought that I had it. I thought I had it in the freezer, and I don't know if I threw it away or I gave it away or something. I was like, I looked for it. I'm like, and then I had like this vague sense that I think I got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
But since I'm just forgetting everything,
Sure.
then it's not here anymore. I looked for it because I think you have to put that in the freezer to preserve it or something. I don't know why I put it in the freezer. I had it was there, but no, I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's all good. I went to the
No, I was just
chiropractor.
curious if you had worked your way up into some more drops or.
No.
Yeah.
You would have known. You would have known. 'Cause I'd been like,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I went to the chiropractor yesterday. That's the body thing that I did yesterday.
For your
And
hip?
it was, yeah. And she was more worried about my back than my hip. She's like, oh my God. She's like, you're all, she didn't say fucked up, but yeah. But it was good. It was, I felt some relief, and she wants, and so I'm going back today. So
Good.
it's just, como te digo, not giving it a lot of importance. I don't even know why, because I left yesterday to go to the supermarket with Viram, and Viram was the one that found this place. It's called, I don't know how it's called. It's like a walk-in, place. You don't have to make an appointment. And it's next to the supermarket where we were going. And then we got out and he just walked over there. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, so you can go to the chiropractor. I'm like, oh, okay. So obviously it's not like some resistance comes up, and I'm like, well, I'm here. This is what's being given. So why not do it? Not questioning, not going into like questioning or the why or any analysis, just going through it and just in a neutral way.
See. Good.
So I have peace.
Have a lovely day.
Yes,
Okay.
both of you as well.
Thank you very much for connecting.
Yep. Thank you.
I'll see you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Sí.
Bye.
Adiós.